I've written a lot about this. Sales and marketing teams not working together, and it's not a dig at anyone. I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been in sales and I've been in marketing, and I've worked with both extensively. And in my agency over 22 years, I saw a lot of sales and marketing teams that just weren't working together. And when I say a lot, I mean like 80+%, and that's being conservative, actually not talking to each other. And the important thing is that marketing feeds sales, and what happens normally is sales aren't getting any leads or not the right quality leads, and they blame marketing. Marketing blames sales for not converting into business, and the people that suffer are both teams. So you've got to try and work together. And I'm going to try and put it into my world, LinkedIn. So I run ProGrowth, which is a done-for-you system for people that don't have time or the creativity or the knowledge to write, create videos, do anything on LinkedIn and engage clients on there. That's what my system does. It's a signal-based system that highlights from a lot of people to a smaller group of people that have the pain that you solve. Put that aside for a second. Where sales and marketing teams could work together on a platform like LinkedIn is that, first of all, you've got to go from the very beginning. So you've got to go from your sales targets for the year, because even though you're in marketing, you're still responsible for the sales targets. Everybody thinks that salespeople are responsible for that, but it's not. It's the entire team. Let's just take those two functions, sales and marketing, together. And when the owner or the board or the managing director says to the teams, we want an extra X million pound this year, or we need to grow by 20%, whatever the figure is, it's normally, most cases, again, 80+%, it's pushed down to the teams. Right, we need to get another 5 million this year, we need to get another 200,000 this year, whatever it is, and whatever size of the business is. What goes wrong, the first thing that goes wrong is at that point, there's generally a lot of times, there's not any indication of how we're going to get those sales. It's generally a top line, we need this much more business this year. And then there you go. And you've got sales and marketing teams that don't speak together. So how on earth are you going to achieve those figures? The first thing you need to do is get together as two teams and understand how you're going to get those figures. Let's say we're using LinkedIn as a platform. How are we going to get the figures? How many customers does that look like? How many customers could we achieve during that year? So we've got the figure. We have to divide that figure by those number of customers, and we get an average, not average order value. Some cases, average order value if you send in large capital expenditure, machinery, things like that. But it could be ARR, annual recurring revenue, which is in most cases what we all work on, ARR. If you work that out, and that's way above what you're getting currently from your current clients, again, you're not going to hit your targets. You need to kind of reverse engineer it. So this is the figure we need to hit as a minimum. This is the number of clients at our average annual recurring revenue that we need to hit that figure. Therefore, we need this many clients. So how are we going to get this many clients? Well, you can do some remodeling and re-engineering of your model. So you need to sell things more expensive, or you need to add more value so you can have an uplift in a premium product. So a great example of that is 5-day delivery, next day delivery, same day delivery. They'll carry a premium. That's just one example of something outside the core product or service. The delivery method is much quicker, therefore you can charge a premium. The other one is upselling. So once a client comes in, you use an Ansoff matrix to show they've had this product but they haven't had these 3 services, or 2 products and 1 service. Can we upsell those? And that might be your customer service team, that might be a marketing team that do it digitally, or that might be your sales team, or it might be all 3 of you. But in reality, you've got to reverse engineer that figure into what that actually looks like. So you might say, we need 100 new clients from LinkedIn. Then you might say, okay, so out of every inquiry that we get, what's our conversion rate of inquiry to client? And it might, the general rule of thumb is 1 in 3. So for every 3 inquiries, you might pick up 1 client. That's a reasonable figure. So then, marketing teams, for that 100, you need 300 opportunities. So then you've got to figure out how you're going to get those 300 opportunities through LinkedIn. So you might have to do some advertising. You certainly have to have a good funnel. The ProGrowth funnel is a great example of that. A good funnel that brings your ideal customer profile in through the top and moves them through signals and understanding who has the pain that you solve, and then making sure that you spend more time on those. And when I say spend more time on those, that's something that the marketing team can do through content, through automated DM strategy, through creating useful guides that the sales team can send to the contacts. But we're talking about probably 5 salespeople that have got 5 personal profiles on LinkedIn that can be used for outreach. So each of those 5 could be targeting a different sector, a different job title, a different geographical area. And the marketing team could be backing that up with support in terms of content, unique content for all 5, because with all the best will in the world, sorry, salespeople, marketing people can write better copy than you can. That's what they do for a living. But you can close probably better than the marketing teams. So you've got to understand each of the strengths and weaknesses here. I'm just using LinkedIn as a great example of one platform you can do this on. So if you decide after all of that analysis that you can't achieve those figures on one platform, you're going to have to go on another platform, or triple or quadruple platforms to get those numbers in. It starts off with the start of the new financial year when you get set the targets. Rather than just bury your head in the sand, get the teams together, talk, meet once a month at an absolute minimum between the sales and marketing teams, and together you could achieve those goals if you plan it properly, and more importantly, work together.